Okay, this podcast is over how to send email from localhost in PHP. Most websites have an email sending functionality. Before uploading to a live server, though, you need to test that email functionality on a local server. But PHP mail function will not work on the local host. In this article, we're going to look at how you can send from localhost in PHP using simple PHP script. You can send from any localhost server like XAMPP. So we're going to use PHP mailer for helping us to do that from localhost. Not only in the text email, you can send HTML email as well from localhost using PHP mailer. So what you'll need to do is create a week 8 folder in your localhost. A couple examples would be if you're in Windows here with XAMPP, CXAMPP, htdocs, Web290 projects week 8, or CXAMPP, htdocs, Web234 projects. Either one, depending on what you've used to set up your local environment. Create a subfolder within that week 8 called validate and one called PHP mail. You'll then download from GitHub PHP mailer. You'll click on this link and it'll go to your downloads folder. Once it goes to your downloads folder, you're then going to extract it. And I'll go ahead and do it on mine here. So I'm going to go ahead and extract all. And so the contents of this folder, from the extras folder down to version, you'll copy that. And you'll move it in the root of the PHP mail folder that you created. So thus far you should have the contents of that copied into your PHP mail folder of what you just downloaded, just like here on the screen here. And once you've done that, you're going to have to go to, since we're using Gmail, we're going to have to change our Gmail account a little bit to allow less secure apps. But don't worry, it's just trust me, it's not going to hurt anything on your Gmail. It just allows you to run dev apps. So you'll log into your Google account, go to the less secure apps page, and if you click on this link, it'll take you right to that less secure page. If you're not already logged in, it'll prompt you to log in, and you're going to turn on the access for less secure apps. Once you've done that, you're going to download and extract these 3 zip files: validate, index, and thanks.zip. Inside of the validate.php file, which will be once you extract this one, it'll create a validate.php file. You're going to put the code below the comment and update your Gmail info. So where it says Gmail, you'll put in your Gmail address, whatever, at gmail.com. And then here you'll put in your Gmail password. And what this code's doing here is it's using the PHP mailer upload, auto load. It's using an array to self-sign a certificate, allow for peer-to-peer local development. This line here is saying it is you're using SMTP. The debug equals 2 If there's issues, it'll show you on the browser what those issues are, and it'll output those issues in HTML format. This line here is the SMTP to Gmail. This line here says it enables SMTP authentication. This line here, your username, which I just went over. This line here, your password. This line here says it's a TLS encryption. SSL also can be accepted, but for Gmail you have to use TLS. Port number for Gmail, SMTP, is 587. One other thing I might mention that you might want to do on your Gmail when you're, if you'll go to your Gmail account, you don't have to do this, but it might make things go a little faster, and in some instances, depending on where you're at and what server you're behind, this will allow email to go through easier as well. So in the gear of your settings on Gmail, if you'll go down to Settings, Forwarding and Pop, and make sure IMAP is enabled. Enable IMAP, and enable Pop for all email, even those that's already been downloaded. Once you do that, go ahead and save it. Save your changes. You should be good to go. So, the other thing I want you to do is personalize your thank you page by adding an image different than and different text. You'll test it with the local host Web290 projects week 8 validate, or localhost Web234 projects week 8 validate. So let me show you my folder contents for my completed one. So what you have in the index.php is a simple web form for people to fill out their name, subject, favorite color, email, website. Do they like the website? Yes, no, not sure. How'd you find us? Google, Yahoo, link from website, word of mouth, other, comments, and then submit. It's a post validate going to validate.php page. Each one of these fields, by the way, have what's called a name field. The name field, or the name option within the field, is what's going to be used as a post in validate.php. So you've got your name, subject, colors, email, website, like it, how, comments. So let's go to validate.php. At the very top of validate.php, when you download, by the way, the file validate.zip, it will not have the code at the top. In fact, I'll show you what it's going to look like. It will look like this. It'll have on line 2, put SMTP email code below. Right there, starting on line 3, is where you're going to put this code here. And then you'll need to personalize it for your Gmail and your password. So I've already done mine. And notice I personalized mine with my email and password. After you've added that information in, you'll notice there's a session start for session variables. We're doing multiple posts of the fields, your name, subject, email, website, like it, how, comments, and we're sending it to a check input function. This week's lab and homework both go over some validation. So the check input function, if you go there in PHP here at the bottom, all it does is takes that data, which in this case is the post command, and it also sends problem if it's default empty quotes, meaning like in this one here, you'll notice your name and then enter your full name. That would be if there's a problem with your name, meaning they didn't enter anything in there, it would pop up to the user, hey, you need to enter your full name. Subject, same thing. And comments, same thing. Email doesn't have one, but it is validated. We'll see in a second below. But let's go back to the check input first. So what it does is takes that data, which is a post information, trims it, any white space, strip slashes it, getting rid of any code types of injection. So if hackers are trying to put in some type of code into your fields to access your database, same here. It's going to strip any HTML code there. This would strip any type of slashes, dashes, SQL type of statements. If problem and data is equal to 0, okay, what that means is when it's equal to 0, that means they've not entered anything in the field. It's going to show that problem, which the problem, you'll remember, comes from the second comma in the argument. So check input, first comma is the post information, second comma is if they don't enter anything in this case, it's going to pop up enter full name. So let me show you that. I'm going to start my XAMPP, Apache, and MySQL. I'm going to go to localhost. You'll notice it says required fields are in bold. So I'm going to just hit submit here. Notice it says enter your full name. It's getting that from this here. If I wanted to say, enter just to show you here something different. Last name. There we go. And so let's say I go back and I enter in my full name and forget to do the subject. Same deal, it's going to pull that from here, enter subject. Go back, I'll enter in some information there. Next, comments. Now you'll notice it's skipped, even though it's bolded, fave, color, and email. It skipped it because I have no, for right now in my code anyway, I don't have anything to the right of email, or the only other thing I have right of is comments. So that's why it's only subject and comments is only one. Okay. So now we'll put something in there. Enter your favorite color. Email address not valid. Now it should let it go all the way through. There we go. And if I go to my email settings here, or my email, This was sent this morning. And there it is right there. And it's giving all the information. One thing I noticed I don't have in here is a color. That's not added to my email though. Okay, so again, it's doing a check input. You'll notice it as I went down, it catched first your name, subject, then comments, then it came back and caught email. Let's see how I did that. Down here on the preg match is where it caught email. It's determining if it's a valid email address or not on the preg match. The preg match went over in the lab as well. If it's not a valid email, it shows that error, email address not valid. Next is preg match on a website. And the website here, you'll notice if it's not valid, it doesn't do anything. It just says website empty quotes. Then down here is where the message for the email is located. So your contact is formed, submitted, your name, email, website, like the website, like it, how did they find it, how did I find it, comments. The one thing I noticed I did not have in the email is color. So I can add that. Fade color, and let's put up here colors, the variable for that one. Save that. And let's run it again. I'll leave the same information in there. And now I've added the color in there. You'll notice I'm running antivirus Avast. I did put at the bottom of my email a tag there saying it's been cleared of all viruses. And so if you have antivirus, it'll probably do the same thing. You'll also notice in the email the HTML tags are gone. The BR tags I put in there. By the way, for the external site, if you want to put this on your external host, you won't need to put in these BR tags at all. And you'll also be able to use a PHP mail that we'll go over in a second. So it validates functional, it works, it checks your input, shows errors on areas that need the user to put in the correct information. So you'll be putting in the code needed at the top of validate.php from the assignment instructions here. You're going to personalize a web page for thank you because it's pretty plain and boring right now. So you can put a picture in there, manipulate the text to what you want it to be. Test the validation, make sure it works, and then you'll submit it. Now, I did include the source for localhost that we just went over, also the source for external.